There. Okay, so I'm going to spend probably the next 12 or so minutes going over the resources for the books that we were talking about via email. Like I mentioned, I am new to the art disciplines. I've been with Cengage for 10 years, but I've just inherited these classes and titles, so I'm still familiarizing myself. But at any rate, I'm really familiar with the digital platform. Okay, so this is your instructor resource account. If you don't have access to this, it didn't look like there was anything loaded. Let me know and I can reset your password for you. But for now, I have loaded both titles to your account. This first one is the one you had suggested, the brief or the backpack edition, is no longer supported and in print. So this is the new edition for that one. Now, this MindTap course actually encompasses, it looks like volumes 1 and 2, but we actually have the book of just volume 1, which would be bundled with this if you wanted to, or this has an ebook within it as well. So let me just show you that. So I have this loaded, and then you can toggle between the cultures and value class right here. The digital resource for online classes, but it's also used a lot in regular on-campus classes is called MindTap. I'm going to show it to you for both, and I'm going to create a demo course for both so that you can go in and review. So MindTap is right here. I'm going to do it for this one here, and I'm going to just say create a course. The course actually is pre-built. It kind of comes to life once I just enter in this relevant information. So I'm just going to say demo MindTap culture and values. Oops. Okay. Students actually get 2 weeks from the start date of the course so that they're able to get right into the course without any more information other than just what you give them. So I filled out all these things and I'm going to say create a course. Now the next page is going to actually show me the um, the course information here. So essentially, the students can plug this into their browser, which would take them right to the course, or they can use this course key here. This is integratable into Canvas, though, and if that's the case, it's a second step, and we don't need any of this information because we actually just place the course right into Canvas. But we can talk about that as we get a little closer. But for the review process now, I just wanted to show you where how that works and how this is built. So I've essentially just built the MindTap course for you, and I can find that now right here. I'm going to click in. MindTap is kind of an ebook that comes to life. So everything is housed within the ebook or within MindTap, including the ebook and lots of extra student resources. Just if I could go back to the instructor resource account, all other available resources would be found right here through the instructor companion site. This is where you might find lecture notes, PowerPoints, etc., things that you can use as part of the course support. So that's all through this tab here. But for now, I'm going to go into MindTap. I'm going to skip my setup because I'm going to show it to you right now. But if you create a new MindTap course, you'll be able to go through this MindTap setup. And you can create your own MindTap course and begin to explore and work from it right through the portal from what I just showed you. So I'm going to X out of all these, the tour. We have right here what we call the learning path. Right here we have two versions. So we actually have a calendar view where as you populate start and end dates to activities, students can click on any given week and see what's due. We have this, like I said, the learning path view. And then right here we have an at a glance grade book where you'll be able to see the class average as a whole and then where students are falling in based upon the assignments that they've completed. I don't like to have this on my home screen here because there is a progress app that gives you full analytics of the course. So to take that off, I just go here, go to course settings, dashboard, and I click that performance dashboard off and I save. I prefer to work from this bigger plane. I think it's easier to see and to manipulate. So let me start just by saying that every single thing that you see is customizable. And I'm not going to get into too much detail. I'm going to keep this short and then we can work from, in the little chunks and pieces that we do once we get through at the introduction of what MindTap is. So again, everything you see is customizable. We first have a getting started video for students. We have our humanities toolbox here, which will be how to use Question, writing and research tools. So students, a lot of these, if you expand, they're not assignable, but just again, a toolbox for them to use. And I can collapse these things at any time. We organize everything into chapter. And if I open a chapter, students are going to be able to see pretty much a uniform look for each chapter. For instance, if I open chapter, let's open chapter 2. I have the chapter 2 preview ebook right here. A chapter 2, let's see what this is. Rise of the Greeks. It might be an illustration. It might be a brief, maybe practice quiz. Let's see what this is as we open it up. I might have a pop-up blocker on. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like we just have a preview from this one portion of the ebook. So then we have our quiz folder, which will have some practice, true, false, multiple choice, and compare and contrast quizzes. We have our study folder, our flashcards of imagery, and then it looks like we have our the full literary works of the reading. So we parse it out so students can access it much easier. Now, again, everything that you see is customizable. So for instance, if we wanted to customize these chapter quizzes so that rather than practice, they actually count towards a grade, we could do so. If we wanted to change the point value, give students a time limit, etc., we are able to do that. We do all those things by clicking the edit tab here. This is where our edit feature comes on, or we can also hide activities. So if there's something we don't want to show maybe in here, but would rather do it in class, we can do so right here. And we can also change the name of anything. For instance, here's my quiz folder. I could go here. I could switch the name of that if I wanted it to be something else, and I can reorder it at that level. But if I go actually into into the assignment level, I can click edit here. This is where I can actually add a description, put my available and due dates. Again, I can rearrange the order of anything I want to. And then depending on what type of activity is, we have different activity options. So in this one here, we're going to be able to, again, load this into a practice, or I'm sorry, we can click this off, which makes it count towards a grade. We can give a time limit or a number of takes allowed. We can give a time limit. There's all different kinds of customization features that we can do for each of the assignments. Let me click out of this. And then we also have the ability to batch edit assignments, meaning if I want to, for instance, put all of chapter 2 open at the same time. So anytime I just click any of these on the side, my batch action ability comes up. I can edit the dates. This is where I can give it an open date for students and a due date, and then it'll apply to everything I have selected in orange. Students won't be able to get into anything that you put an activity date for or an available date until the available date comes. If everything is already open by default, so there's no available and due date, students could get into everything. But I know in some classes, instructors don't like students to work ahead, so they would do something like that. Anyway, you can go into this, start to explore, see what you like and what you don't like. Again, anything can be worked or anything can be edited. We can also edit if there are things in here that you, for instance, if you wanted to add more content, if you wanted to add chapter quizzes or midterms or unit tests or things like that, that can all be done through this system here. So let me know once you start to review these, let me know what your needs are beyond what's here, what your thoughts are, and we can start to work through things. The student view is exactly the same as the instructor view, except that you have the ability to edit and hide things. Students, instead of seeing those things, would just see their score and any parameters that there are for each assignment. Like I said, I can also add and create activities, units, or folders. That can be in the form of something that comes out of my own Google Drive or my Microsoft OneDrive, a Questy activity, so a research activity. If there's YouTube videos that I use regularly, I can plug them right into the learning path. So in some ways, it's actually almost acts as a Canvas or something if you don't use Campus Learning Management System, or you just want everything to be housed within this. On the right side of the page, we have what we call MindTap apps, or the app docs. Students can take notes and highlights. Those would all be filter into their OneNote, or if they use OneNote, or I'm sorry, Evernote. We have an RSS feed link. A glossary, students can create a school or career portfolio that they actually have access to after the course is over, right through this tab here. We have a full ebook, so rather than it being parsed into chapters, students can pull that up here. Students can actually have the ebook read to them, and they see that functionality when they're within the ebook. That's manipulated right here. We have Questia, which is, again, a resource. Cengage Now homework. All of the assignments that are built within the learning path come from our Cengage Now homework app. So things can be edited through this here, but again, we could get into that at a different date. This is also gives you the ability to create more assignments through this doc here, flashcards. And then we have a progress report where you'll find student engagement per student as a whole. You'll find weaknesses in the course. You'll find all kinds of great analytics can be pulled from the Progress app. Again, everything is customizable. Everything is loadable into Canvas, either at a course level or you can load individual assignments. Again, something we can get into later. So here is, let's see, again, your instructor resource site. I have created that course here for this one. I will create another one for this book, this title right here. One thing I do want to mention again is this title uh, via MindTap is only available. It encompasses volumes 1 and 2. If you wanted to use the text in itself, you can do so, and it would be bundled with this here, but that would be volume 1. Another thing I want to note, I'm not going to go through the video for you right now on this one because I will create the course and you'll be able to click in. But again, if say this is 33 chapters, I'm not sure if what volume 1 and 2 is, but volume 1 is only 18 of those chapters. You actually could go into the MindTap course and you could hide every chapter that you don't use, just like this right here. So anything I don't use, I can hide it all at the same time. It gets rid of it from my screen and from the student screen as well. So again, the price doesn't change. It's the same. So having the smaller version via this digital format won't change the price because it's less content within it. It's MindTap is just kind of there's across the board pricing depending on the discipline. So at any rate, let me know what questions you have, but this should get you started. Again, this is the cengage.com/login. I think you already have an account because I saw one for you, but if you don't have access, let me know and I'll change that password for you so you can get in. If you have any questions, again, keep me posted.